So a couple of months ago, Otaku Tendencies put out a video on whether or not he believes anime should be binged, and also in regards to how much more common it is for people to marathon through shows than in previous years. I feel as if this topic on binging series has become a lot more relevant to anime now than it has been in even a few months, due to the recent news in regards to Real Life being released for the most part all at once. I feel as if this goes to show that even some anime series are being made for fast consumption, as opposed to the week-by-week basis that audiences are most used to seeing. But the ultimate questions are, is the rise of this quote-unquote binge culture beneficial, and should all anime be marathoned? From my personal experiences, I do think that the rise of streaming has not only allowed for faster consumption of series, but also opens people up to greater options. Because people can watch the shows when they want and go through as many episodes as are available, they are less limited in regards to what they can watch. Back when I was younger and I watched anime on Toonami and even Anime Network on demand, I was a lot more limited in what I could watch. Either I would have to wait every Saturday for the shows to come on, and even then I was purely watching from a very small pool of shows, and I'd have to watch at that exact time or record it on VHS at that exact time and watch it later. Anime Network on Demand gave me more options, since it was more in line with streaming services of today. However, even that was a lot more limited. For starters, they would usually only put out 3 or 4 episodes of certain shows, then update it with more episodes the next week. If you missed out on the earlier episodes, you would either need to bite the bullet and just start with a later episode in the series, or wait a few weeks and hope that they end up starting back from episode 1 again. Anime Network on Demand also didn't offer nearly as large of a pool of shows as Funimation or Crunchyroll streaming services do today. Don't get me started on buying the series on DVD, since DVD prices were a lot more expensive back then in comparison to now, and they also gave you a lot less episodes. There was still torrenting at the time, but it would tend to take a lot longer to download shows, and getting shows to come out subbed took a lot longer. These also weren't legal. The rise of these new streaming services give audiences the option to go through shows at a faster rate, thus giving them the option to expose themselves to more anime in a shorter amount of time. It also gives fans a larger amount of options in terms to what genres they can watch, whereas a lot of the anime on Western television was action-centric. Due to the fact that it allowed people to watch anime at a faster rate, and gave them greater ways to broaden their horizons while also giving audiences a means to support the industry, no matter how small, I do see the option to binge shows as being beneficial. That still leaves the question of should all anime be binged. Now, Otaku Tendencies said in his video that anime can be watched in whatever format people wish to watch it in, and I'd agree. People can watch anime in whatever way works for them. However, I do feel that some shows work better in smaller doses. Take for example the more relaxing, more atmospheric shows like Mushishi. I think Mushishi works best as an episode a day or an episode a week, because it's made to put its audience in a more calm mindset and gives people the option to sit for a brief period of time and just ponder. Furthermore, the show follows a very distinct episodic formula, which just feels most ideal in smaller doses. I also think more complex series can work better in smaller doses as well, not to say that Mushishi isn't complex. However, a lot of these more complex series do have a lot of information to take in, and sometimes you need to sit and process everything that happened. And this works with shows like Technoize, where there's a lot of themes and a lot of reference material and a lot of things going on within the stories that maybe you'll need to just sit and just process what happens. On the other end of the spectrum, I think that long-running shonen series have a tendency to work best in larger doses, mostly because there's a lot of it, and to be blunt, some series run at a slower pace where not a lot happens per episode, which will make a weekly watch not feel terribly satisfying. Thus, watching the show in larger quantities will allow people to enjoy the story enough to feel like it is progressing at a reasonable rate. I also think that a lot of times thriller shows tend to work best marathoned because the tension will keep people wanting to watch another episode. Take for example something like Kaiji, where you watch an episode and you'll be on the edge of your seat wondering how Kaiji can possibly get out of this situation, and you'll want to just keep watching more to find out what will happen next. They're very addicting series. But at the end of the day, I do believe this culture of marathoning series will become a lot more common in the future, though I don't believe that it will entirely replace the weekly format. That being said, I do think that marathoning anime is beneficial, as it allows people to expose themselves to a greater variety of shows at a faster rate. Furthermore, while I believe that some anime work better marathon than others, you are free to consume anime at whatever pace feels comfortable to you. Don't let me be the judge of how you watch a show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, as well as subscribe, since both count a lot and both mean a lot. Also be sure to check out Otaku Tendencies video. It doesn't have a ton of views, but I want to change that because it's a very good video and a very well made one, as well as a very relevant one. With that being said, catch you later.